We'll see how it goes. You guys, so today we're actually be using the new Pegasus from Johnny B. So this is a collaboration between Gamma, Stylecraft, and Johnny B. And what we've done is, bam, that's what it looks like here. And basically what this actually is it's kind of like a hitter body. It has the new X Pro 1 blade on it. It cuts great. It's got 4 hours of runtime. And I actually don't have this one set super close, but I have been using it for a while and it's awesome. And I want to keep it set just like this. So I got this one cutting a little further back, and then I got my Rebel cutting super close. So between using these two, pretty much hit any length. And we're also going to be working with the Instincts. Favorite ones have the taper blade on it, and then I also have the Vapor blade on it to get out those harsh lines. These two, those two, I literally got every length covered from skin all the way on up. I had to steal an extra from Chad because I'm too lazy to put new ones in. As usual, we're going to be using one of the Zuka neck guards, which I actually put in this bag after I cleaned them, because this keeps all the hair off of them. But this product is really cool, man, because it sticks to itself and it will keep all the hair off of your client. It'll keep him comfortable. So we're gonna put this on his neck. That's it. So once I'm done, he won't have any hair sticking to his neck. This is what we're gonna do here to start off with. Since his hair is already wet on top, I think I might as well go ahead and cut the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of comb this all out. I also am using one of the Zuka combs. This is a much stronger comb. It'll give me a lot of control over what I wanna do. And we're gonna do this with our normal mohawk guideline down the center. And what also is cool about the fact that it's already wet, and I'll work on the sides after, is I'm gonna put some textured sea salt spray in it, and that's gonna cut down a lot of the frizz. It'll make his hair curl up now. So let's grab the shears. I used to have to put him on a booster, by the way.
Okay.
Not anymore, bro. You're taller than me almost. So yeah, all I'm doing here is I'm gonna take this mohawk guideline straight down the center, and I'm gonna continue all the way to the back. If you guys are cutting yourself a lot, like one of the things you guys could do is don't open your shears so wide. Like if you just keep your shears kind of closed a little more, you got a much less chance of cutting yourself than opposed to if you're doing this. If you're chomping like that, you got a real good chance of chomping one of your fingers instead of some hair. Now that I got my guideline set in, I'm gonna take his bangs. I'm gonna kind of push those out of the way. I'm gonna work right behind his bangs. As you can see, I'm just kind of working my guideline back just beside where I went. Now I'm gonna jump over to the right side of the guideline. I'll find it right here in the center, and I'll begin working this little row right back. Really important that you keep your fingers 90 degrees from the head. So that just means straight out from the head. And if you're ever like curious, you can literally put your comb just like that, and you can see what 90 degrees is. What that basically means is 90 degrees is not, I'm holding it here and then I tip it down. That would not be 90 degrees. That would be me directing it down. I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that I stay right next to my guideline. And the cool thing about using the mohawk guideline is you get to start out kind of with a stationary guide, and then as you go, it turns into a traveling and stationary guideline. Okay, that's pretty good so far as cutting the top goes, but I left the bangs out of it. So at this point, I need to decide like what I want to do with the bangs and how I want to blend them in. So because this hair is so curly, it's gonna be kind of unpredictable as far as like what it's gonna do when it dries. So what I'm gonna do for now is I'm just gonna take a little bit, and I'm gonna try to get this like midway to the eyes, release some of the tension, and I'm just gonna cut. You can see like the second I let it go, it's gonna do all kind of stuff. So that's why I didn't really like hold it straight and try to cut it across and make a straight line. Like with curly hair, you can't be obsessed with trying to make it perfect because it ain't gonna be perfect no matter what you do. So you kind of just gotta try to cut it your best you can without so much tension.
Yeah, because it dries up.
Because it's gonna like every time he washes the hair, it's gonna change. You know, like today the hair might be flipping this way. Tomorrow he might sleep on it. It might flip the other way. So we just want to like kind of ease into it a little bit. And as it dries, I might make an adjustment there. But the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to blend the exterior length into the interior length. There's probably not going to be a whole lot here to do, but I'll pick this up in pie shapings. And if there is any long hair right here, that's kind of what I'm looking for. So right here, there probably will be. See how good I am, man? I know these things. I know right where the hair is going to be. But over the years, you guys will get there too. you guys will know exactly what to do. Like some people probably would have left a couple of pieces long, and then his hair wouldn't have had that much flow. It wouldn't have blended right there. This is gonna be a bit of a challenge because I got to get the low fade done before it gets too high. So I need to pick a spot here on both sides. So I'm gonna take a second to do this, and I'm gonna make sure that, you know, right where I pick it, it makes the most sense to have it there. He's got short hair, that's kind of where I want to be. Chad usually got some clips. We need to keep stealing from Chad's station. Oh, clips.
Oh, yeah, he does have the clips. They're just where they need to be, right? Out in the open, easy to
Yeah. Look at Chad hiding things in plain sight. And he's got everything, dog.
on his lights. Look at this.
Okay. Oh, we don't need these, Chad. Who are you trying to come at with that? No. If you guys didn't see my video on the 5 things that make my life easier, this was one of them. So you guys can check out that video. I'm gonna put the link in the description right here. It's worth it for me to take the time to make sure that I got all my clips like right where I want them, because then I won't have to mess with them again. What I'm gonna do to start with, and it's gonna help me a little bit, is I'm actually gonna use a little bit of clipper over comb just to kind of get this bottom part established a little better. Okay, so what I want here, I want to use the Vapor blade, and I'm going to use my Zuka comb because I'm trying to get just some of the bulk removed, and I don't really want to cut too deep into it. Like I want to just get some of the stuff out of my way so I can start setting in my line and everything. I'm going to close it fully. Guys hear that clipper just speeding up as soon as it hits the bulk? Like instant. So this has what they call intuitive torque control. So the moment it senses resistance, it speeds up the motor. I'm actually going to go ahead. I'm gonna flip over to my new Johnny B Pegasus. And I'm gonna put in the line, just because I would like to do this actually with a taper blade if I could, but there's not a lot of room to work with here. So I'd rather be able to see exactly where I'm going with this. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna use this tool is a little bit easier to get into these hard to reach spots. So I'm gonna angle this line down slightly so that the fade can disperse into some of that length. It's kind of almost like I'm just arching around the ears, but I'm arching a little higher than normal. That's really the main difference between a lower fade and a taper. And the cool thing about having this set back a little bit is this line's not gonna be too harsh. I'll be able to get this line out pretty easy without working too hard at it. If you really wanna keep your fade in a specific spot, I'm gonna show you guys a whole different way of attacking this fade in order to keep that fade low and right where I want it. We need to stack a little bit of this weight in this area. We need to make sure that we leave some of that hair long so it stays dark so you can see the contrast in the blend. Otherwise, he's just gonna have a shaved head underneath, and we don't wanna have that. We wanna make sure it has like a nice blend to it. All right, you guys, so check it out. The next step is we don't have no room to get our skin done, so this is the perfect tool for that. And this is actually a pretty strong machine, even though it's a single foil, but the fact that it's small make it easy to get in here. It actually runs at 9,000 cutting strokes per minute. It has a 120-minute runtime, and it's just a super useful tool. And you guys will see how I'll use it again later in this blend. I can use this to kind of fix my blend at the end. And obviously I could use it to fit into these hard to reach spots. Not gonna worry about the back, we'll use the other one for that. We'll just make sure that we get this down the skin so we can create as much contrast as possible. And once I get close to that line where I went with the Pegasus, I'm gonna start kind of lifting up and trying to create a little bit of a blend in between my trimmer and my skin line. So I get close to that line, I start lifting up my pressure. Our goal is to not have any line in between where we went with our skin and where we went with our trimmer. The Rebel now, got a little bit more space back here, so use the tool that makes the most sense. When we attack this line, we're gonna do it a little bit differently than normal. Normally I tell you guys to use an open taper. We're not gonna do that. There's not a whole lot of room here. So I'm actually gonna jump over to a number 1 and I'm gonna open it 2 clicks. 1, 2. So I need to see what effect that has on it, and I'm gonna try to go up, just about a 1/2 inch, maybe a little bit further. This is kind of gonna set my perimeter for which I could get this fade done in. You can hear the clipper speeding up as soon as it encounters that hair. His hair is still a little bit wet, which would make it a little bit difficult to cut through for some clippers, but this clipper is built to cut through wet hair, gel hair, really anything. It maintains a constant speed of 11,600 strokes per minute, 11,500 strokes per minute. But what it does is the moment it senses that resistance, it just keeps the blade moving at the same speed, so it makes it very predictable for the cut. All right, so I needed a comb that I could fit in there a little bit easier, so I got this little skinny Zuka comb, and my goal now is to kind of try to pull up on it and tighten in that blend to the top of that line there. Using clipper over comb in different little ways is kind of, you know, the best way that you can use to get this stuff done without making any mistakes and keeping it nice and full there. All right, so now we're actually gonna begin the blend. I'm gonna start with the taper in the open position, and I can see his grain kind of swoops this way. So I'm gonna try to just kind of flick into it a little bit and see what effect that has. Unlike most blends, when you have a little bit more room, you can kind of spread your working area out a little bit. This has to be a very steep blend, so that means there is gonna be some wrist flipping involved, and I wanna do everything I can to kind of mitigate any mistakes that I could make. All right, I'm gonna close this all the way now, and I'm just gonna chip into that line. And I'm literally using one tooth. Click it open, one click. Continue just using that one tooth. You gotta be patient here. You can see this starting to come together pretty nice right here. And we're gonna work this whole system around the whole head. Really paying attention to that grain pattern and making sure that we get that blend looking just like that. It's really up to you how you hold the clipper, because you gotta really look at these grain patterns. Otherwise it can be easy to make a mistake. Maybe if there is anybody else out there who doesn't understand what I mean by one tooth, we're talking about the teeth on the blade here. So if I'm just using one tooth, I'm literally using just the very corner, just the very edge of that blade. Right. So my brother took out like a couple of the extra scoops underneath, and he added some. All right, you guys, I switched over to the Faber blade because I'm trying to clean up this little transition here. But my blend's starting to stack up nice. I'm kind of trying to look in the mirror a little bit and make sure that everything is working out the way I want. Because sometimes you get like right up close to your canvas and you can't really see it as good until you step back a little bit. So this is just one of those deals where you want to keep kind of looking at your mirror, step back, look at it. If you think you got it perfect, I'm going to give you guys a big tip right here. Pull out your phone and point your phone at it. I guarantee you're going to see some mistakes when you do that. And that kind of helps you to locate like where you should be working. Because sometimes you'll kind of get blind to where you should be going. I'll start with it fully open. This is kind of cool because I can drag the teeth out a little bit. So if you notice, I'm actually holding it out here like this for the first pass. And little by little, I'm gonna begin holding it until it's flat. So what that'll do is that'll start to blend for me. It'll keep it steep. It'll get rid of some of those other hairs. And then little by little, I'll start to push it flat. And if you guys wanna see a more in-depth kind of way that I do this, like especially when I do tapers, I'm gonna post a link to a video right here that I just finished on the Redhead client. But literally you can do a taper in 5 minutes using this technique and it's gonna come out great. All right, let's flip over to this half guard and I'm gonna try to soften up the blend just a little bit. This will probably be pretty close to my final step, aside from the very bottom where I gotta work on that transition a tiny bit. Flip over to the Faber blade so I can get a little bit closer. I got it closed all the way. All right, so this little technique, when you're just using like literally a portion of the blade, laying it down and chipping into it, you can actually do the same thing with your scissors, and you guys will see me doing this a lot. Like let's say I got a section that's a little weighty, but I don't wanna put a clipper into it because it might make a mistake. I'd much rather just break it up using this texturizing technique where I'm just literally laying the tip of my shear down and kind of just chipping it into that section, removing some of the dark spot, not really trying to go after lines with this technique. It's more like just remove some darkness. So on this side, I'm gonna come underneath. I'm gonna pull those little hairs in so it's against the grain. And right here, I'm gonna just try to lay this flat and use the heel of the blade. Whenever you do this, you're gonna have to go back through with your trimmer because you're gonna have a couple hairs hanging over. That's fine, that's normal. This is an all new little razor slider from Gamma. This is actually created by Danny Styles. So we're kind of collaborating with him. These are pretty nice. I actually have been enjoying going back to using the sliding style of razor. There's something about it, just feels like it cuts good. Basically, my goal here with these eyebrows is I wanna get rid of some of this hair right here. So my first pull is gonna be kind of across his eyebrows right here. I'm gonna get rid of some of these long hairs. And I'm gonna try to get rid of everything in the middle. Very easy to do his right eyebrow when I'm right-handed. But when I'm right-handed, it's very hard to do the left eyebrow. So I'm gonna show you guys the way I'll typically deal with that. So I'm actually gonna use a reverse backhand. I'll have him tip his head this way. I'm gonna pull on his skin here. I can use the tip of my blade just like I did. And we could just clean up the whole rest of it. Leave it in the comments. You guys got some ladies coming in to get the eyebrows done in the shop? Because we do too. They love getting them done with the razors because we can actually do them better than they can with the wax. Some of the little long ones that stick out, we'll just go ahead and use the trimmers. He's got good eyebrows though. They're not super bushy, so I'm not gonna go crazy here. Just wanted to clean them up a little bit. All right, you guys, big shout out to Johnny B, Gamma Stylecraft for this collaboration. Thank you for sending me this tool. This is the cut, man. I hope you like it. And another quick shout out I want to give to Philip Wolf. He's the guy who created this neck guard, and the neck guard kept all the hair off my client, kept him comfortable. And I'm just gonna be able to clean up the stuff that's right underneath his neck with the trimmer, and he's gonna be good to go. He originally walked in and kind of wanted to do a taper. I sort of talked him into doing a low fade, which was a hell of a lot more work, but I actually think it looks really dope. Thank you, Carlos, for letting me do this cut. All right, you guys, this is the YouTube Barber Academy. I'm Mr. Eddie Barber, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace.